In 2024, and then again in 2026, the NEET UG medical entrance exam collapsed. Over the course of just 3 years, the futures of nearly 2.3 million Indian students were derailed by compromised test papers. The fallout was devastating. Families who had taken loans or sold land to afford years of coaching were financially ruined. Students took to the streets demanding accountability, and tragically, the crushing anxiety of a compromised future cost several young people their lives. The government responded by passing the Public Examinations Act of 2024. The law established severe penalties for organized cheating, including 10-year prison sentences and fines of up to 1 crore rupees. But there is a glaring blind spot in relying on deterrence. A 10-year prison sentence only takes effect after the exam has been leaked, and the candidates' lives have already been upended. Retrofitting a vulnerable system with harsher punishments does not cure the underlying disease. It only penalizes the symptoms long after the damage is done. A traditional paper exam is fragile by design. It requires a sprawling, convoluted chain of custody, from the academics setting the questions to the massive printing presses to armed transport trucks and eventually local bank vaults. Every link is a potential breach. During the 2026 leak, physical security measures completely failed because they were irrelevant. A trusted NTA-appointed subject expert simply looked at the paper, memorized it, and walked out. To fix this, we have to rethink the architecture of testing itself. Instead of hiding the exam behind thicker steel and tighter locks, the state must do the exact opposite. It must publish the entire question bank openly, months before test day. True examination security requires eliminating the secret entirely. If there is no secret left to keep, it becomes structurally impossible to steal. The immediate objection to an open question bank is obvious. If every question is public, industrial-scale coaching cartels and hubs like Coda will simply force their students to memorize hundreds of thousands of exact answers. This is where Project SATYA introduces parametric architecture. Under this system, the material published online is merely the conceptual template, not the final fixed question. When exam day arrives, a secure engine dynamically randomizes the numerical variables, chemical elements, and contextual details for every single testing terminal in the country. This specific design choice neutralizes rote memorization. A student cannot memorize the exact answer, because mathematically, the exact answer does not exist until they sit down and log in. But if every student receives a dynamically randomized paper, how can the state guarantee one student isn't handed a significantly harder exam than the person sitting next to them? The solution relies on a globally recognized psychometric framework known as item response theory. IRT is a statistical method used to evaluate and measure exactly how difficult and differentiating a specific test question is. The system uses this data to calibrate over 100,000 templates. The algorithm is strictly constrained to ensure that every unique paper it generates adds up to an identical composite difficulty score. True equality in testing doesn't require giving every student the exact same piece of paper. It requires giving them a provably equivalent challenge. Even with randomized questions, what prevents a hacker or a rogue system administrator from stealing the finalized papers directly from the servers during the generation process? This schematic illustrates confidential computing as a zero-trust shield. The digital paper assembles inside a hardware-isolated memory cache, completely cut off from the server's operating system. To initiate generation, multiple independent stakeholders must use a simultaneous split-key activation to unlock the vault. Finally, the paper renders on the student's screen for a one-time viewing. Once submitted, it permanently purges from the terminal's memory. And if someone tries to photograph the screen, an invisible pixel shift watermark instantly traces the image back to the specific testing center and seat number. Under this zero-trust digital architecture, an organized paper leak is no longer a criminal risk. It is an engineering impossibility. The immediate societal consequence of this technology is economic. The multi-million-dollar black market for leaked papers instantly collapses to zero. A syndicate cannot sell a static, transferable paper that simply doesn't exist. It also disrupts the highly lucrative secondary market of pattern prediction. Elite coaching centers can no longer sell an artificial advantage because guessing patterns is useless against a randomized, conceptually transparent question bank. This directly enforces Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. A student in a rural village with a basic internet connection finally has the exact same preparation materials as someone enrolled in an expensive metropolitan coaching hub. Technological transparency levels the playing field. It ensures that genuine, conceptual mastery becomes the only viable path to success. Our instinct is often to protect valuable things by building thicker walls, but science offers a far more elegant solution, dismantling the target altogether. The promise of Project SATYA is a system built on mathematically provable transparency. It offers India's students an examination where there is nothing left to steal, nothing left to buy, and nothing left to fear. The most secure examination humanity can build is one that was never a secret at all.